ভালো বুঝলেন বলে এক জায়গায় থাকা হ্যাঁ আমি বললাম দেখুন এটা কালকে ডিজিটাল বলে একদম মানে সব টাকা আপনার কাছে চলে আসবে কি ব্যাপার আমার পকেটে আপনার পকেটে দেয় ওই আসে না না একবার তো ঘুরে আসলাম এই অবস্থা হ্যাঁ ঠান্ডা লাগে না আপনি গরমটা বেশি
Hi, Janardhan. Hi. Good evening. Hi, Bimlis. Nah, Bismillah. Hi. Hello. Krishna ji, hello. Stephen. Hi. My name is Rupa. Krishna ji, my name is Rupa. Bismillah ji, I'm good. How are you? Janardhan. चाय पी चुके हैं मिस्टर लॉयल सोल्जर जनार्दन सब्सक्राइब ओके मैडम थैंक यू व्हाट आर यू राइटिंग आई एम नॉट राइटिंग कृष्णा जी आई एम रीडिंग द बुक एंड द बुक नेम इज द मॉन्क हु सोल्ड हिज फरारी evening time I always read the book. Fine. Okay. Mr. Loyal Soldier, Ladu, do you study? Yes, I do. Krishna, great. Thank you, Krishna ji. Janardhan, friendship. Okay, madam. Okay, friendship. Mr. Loyal. Good. At evening, what are you doing, guys? My hobby is reading book at evening whenever I got free time. Working or study? Mr. Krishnaji, currently I am working. No, sorry, I meant studying. Mr. Loyal Soldier. IS, yes, IPS. No. Best of Janardhan, best of the examination. For examination? No, no, I'm not reading for examination. This is a normal autobiography about monk. Royal Soldier Army. No, no, not for army. This is a uh, autobiography about monk. See. I'm fond of books. The Locked Door. Krishna, you are a student. Yeah, somehow. I'm a student right now. Good. I'm army. Acha, you're working in an army. Very good. Which army? Indian army or some other? Do not be concerned with the judgment of others as long as you know what you are doing is right. You can do whatever you want to do as long as it is correct. According to your conscience and your heart, never be ashamed of doing that which is right. Decide on what you think is good and then stick to it. Yeah. And for God's sake, never get into the petty habit of measuring your self-worth against other people's net worth. As Yogi Raman preached, every second you spend thinking about someone else's dream, you take time away from your own. Oh, I'm Indian. Mr. Loyal, so I'm Indian. Yeah, very good. Mr. Loyal, Indian Army. Okay. Uh, Krishna ji, which one is second book? Didn't hear about that. Oh, uh, the second book is The Locked Door. See, I think it's visible. The Locked Door. This one is second book. You belong, Mr. Loyal. I belong to India. I think you also. Everyone is here is from India, no? Every second you spend thinking about someone else's dream, you take time away from your own. It was now 7 minutes past midnight. 7 minutes past midnight. Remarkably, I didn't feel the least bit tired. When I shared this with Julian, he smiled once again. You have learned yet another principle for enlightened living. Oh, thank you, Krishna ji. You have learned yet another principle for enlightened living. For the most part, fatigue is a creation of the mind. Fatigue is the creation of mind. Fatigue dominates the lives of those who are living without direction and dreams. Let me give you an example. Have you ever had an afternoon at the office where you were reading your dry case report and your mind started to wander and you started feel sleepy? From time to time, I answered, not wishing to reveal the fact that this was my modus operandi. Sure, most of us feel drowsy at work on a regular basis. Nice. Keep reading. Okay. Okay. I will keep reading. Work on regular basis. So most of us feel drowsy on. From time to time, I answer, not wishing to reveal the fact that this was my modus operandi. So most of us feel drowsy at work on a regular basis. Yet, if a friend calls on the phone to ask you if you want to go out to the ball game that night or ask you for advice on his golf game, I have no doubt that you would spring to life. Every trace of your fatigue would vanish. Is that a fair assessment? Is that a fair assessment? That's fair, counselor. Julian knew he was on a roll, so your tiredness was nothing more than a mental creation, a bad habit your mind has cultivated to act as a crutch. When you are performing a tedious task tonight, you are obviously enchanted with my story and keen to learn the wisdom that has been revealed to me. Your interest and material focus give you energy. This evening, your mind has not been in the past, nor has it been in the future. It has been squarely focused on the present, on our conversation. When you consistently direct your mind to live in the present, you will always have boundless energy, no matter what time the clock reflects. I nodded my head in agreement. Julian wisdom seemed so obvious, and yet so much of it had never occurred to me. I guess common sense is not always so common. I thought about what my father used to tell me when I was growing up. Only those who seek self find. I wished he was with me. Completed one chapter. Chapter. Now next chapter. Chapter Chapter 8. Chapter 8. What it is? Kindling your inner fire. See? Kindling your inner fire. Now I'm going to read this chapter. Okay? If this this is an autobiography about upon yogi. So just read. I'm going to read this book. Okay? I'm a spiritual type, so I like this type of reading books. I'm fond of this type of books. That's why. Trust yourself. Create the kind of life you will be happy to live with all your life. Make the most of yourself by fanning the tiny inner spark of possibility into the flame of achievement. Foster seemed anxiously. The day that Yogi Raman shared his mystical little fable with me, height of the Himalaya was actually quite similar to this day in many respects, said Julian. Really? Our meeting began in the evening and carried on well into the night. There was such a chemistry between the two of us that the air seemed to crackle with electricity. As I mentioned to you earlier, from the first moment I met Raman, I felt as if he was a brother I never had. Tonight, sitting here with you and enjoying the book of intrigue on your face, I feel the same energy and warmth. I will also tell you that I have always thought of you as my little brother since we become friends. Krishna ji. Well, it's nice to listen, but I have to leave now. I had subscribed your channel. Well, kindly do a little video on book you are reading now. Like that one book teachers have a nice time. Thank you, Krishna ji. I will surely make a video upon this book. Thank you for giving me your time. Thanks a lot. And thank you for subscribing. To tell you the truth, I saw a lot of myself in you. To tell you the truth, I saw a lot of myself in you. You are an amazing litigator, Julian. I will never forget your effectiveness. It was obvious that he had no interest in exploring the museum of his past. John, I would like to continue to share the element of Raman's fable with you. But before I do this, I must confirm something. Already, you have learned a number of highly effective strategies for personal change which will do wonder for you if you apply them constantly. I will open my heart to you tonight and reveal everything I know as it is my duty to do. I just want to make sure that you fully understood how important it is that you in turn, pass this wisdom to all those who are searching for such guidance. We are living in a very troubled world. Negative pervades it, and many in our society are floating like ships without rudders, weary souls searching for a lighthouse that will keep them from crashing against the rocky shores. You must serve as a captain of sorts. You must serve as a captain of sorts. I'm placing my trust in you to take the message of the sages of Sivana to all those who needed it. After consideration, I promised Julian with conviction that I would accept this assignment. He then continued passionately. The beauty of the whole exercise is that as you strive to improve the life of other, your own life will be elevated into its highest dimension. This truth is based on an ancient paradigm for extraordinary living. I'm all yours. Basically, the sages of the Himalaya guided their lives by a simple rule: he who serves the most reap the most emotionally. Yes. Physically, mentally, and spiritually, this is the way to inner peace and outer fulfillment. I once read the people who study others are wise, but those who study themselves are enlightened. Here, perhaps for the first time, I saw a man who truly knew himself, perhaps his highest self, in his austere clothing with the half smile of youthful Buddha gracing his supple face. Julian Mantle appeared to have it all: ideal health, happiness, and an overriding sense of his role in the kaleidoscope of the universe. Yet he owned nothing. Yet he owned nothing. 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 This brings me to the lighthouse, said Julian, remaining focused on the task at hand. I was wondering how that fit into Yogi Raman's fable. I will try to explain, he responded, sounding more like a well schooled professor than a lawyer turned monk who had renounced the sensual world. You have now learned that the mind is like a fertile garden, and for it to flourish, you must nurture it daily. Never let the weeds of impure thought and action take the garden of your mind. Understood? Read, listen. Understood? Shh, read. Keep it healthy and strong. It will work miracle in your life. Mm, uh, stand guard at the gateway of your mind. Stand guard at the gateway of your mind. Keep it healthy and strong. It will work miracles in your life. Keep it healthy and strong. It will work miracle in your life if you will only let it. You will recall that in the middle of the garden stood a magnificent lighthouse. This symbol will remind you of yet another ancient principle for enlightened living. The purpose of life is a life of purpose. Those who are truly enlightened know what they want out of life. Hmm? Physical and spiritual. Those who are truly enlightened know what they want out of life, even emotionally, materially, physically, and spiritually. Clearly define priorities and goals for every aspect of your life. Will serve a role similar to that played by a lighthouse, offering you guidance and refuse when the will serve a clearly defined priorities and goals for every aspect of your life will serve a role similar to that played by a lighthouse, offering you guidance and refuge when the seas become rough. You see, John, anyone can revolutionize their life once they revolutionize the direction in which they are moving. But if you don't even know where you are going, how will you ever know when you get there? हाँ सही कहा है. Julian transported me back to the time when Yogi Raman examined this principle with him. Julian transported me back to the time when Yogi Raman examined this principle with him. He recalled the sage exact. He recalled the sage's exact word. Life is funny, observed Yogi Raman. One observed Yogi Raman. Life is funny, observed Yogi Raman. One would think that the less one worked, the more one would have the chance to experience happiness. However, the real source of happiness can be started in a word achievement. Lasting Lasting happiness comes from steadily working to accomplish your goal and advancing confidently in the direction of your own life purpose. There is a secret of kindling the inner fire that lurks within you. I do understand that it might seem more than a little ironic that you have traveled thousands of miles from your achievement oriented society to speak to a cluster of mystical sages living high in the Himalayas only to learn that another eternal secret of happiness can be found in achievement. But it is true. Workaholic monk, I suggested playfully, quite the opposite. While the sages were tremendously productive people, their productive was not of the frantic type. Instead, it was of the peaceful, focused, zen like kind. How so? Everything they did had a purpose. Though they were removed from the modern world and lived a highly spiritual existence, they were also highly effective. Some spent their days polishing off philosophical treatises, others created fabulous, richly textured poems that challenged their intellect and renewed their creativity. Still, others passed their time in the silence of total contemplation, looking like illuminated statues seated in the ancient lotus pose. Hmm. The sages of Savannah did not waste time. Their collective conscience told them that their lives had a purpose and they had a duty to fulfill. This is what Yogi Raman said to me here. This is what Yogi Raman said to me here in Savannah, where time appeared to stand still. You might wonder what a group of simple, possessionless sages would ever need or hope to achieve. But achievement need not be of the material sort. Personally, my objectives are to attain peace of mind, self mastery, and enlightenment. If I fail to accomplish this goal by the end of my life, peace of mind, self mastery, enlightenment. If I fail to accomplish this goal by the end of my life, I am certain that I will die feeling unfulfilled and dissatisfied. Julian told me that was the first time he had heard any of his teachers in Sivana speak of their own mortality, and Yogi Raman sensed this in my expression. He said, "You need not worry, my friend. I have already lived past the age of 100 and have no plan for a quick exit. My point is simple, that when you clearly know what aims you wish to achieve over the course of your life, be they material, emotional, physical, spiritual, and you spend your days accomplishing them, you will ultimately find eternal joy. Your life will be delightful as mine, and you will come to know a splendid reality. But you must know your life's aim and then manifest this vision into reality by consistent action. We sages call this dharma, which is a Sanskrit word for life purpose. What? Sanskrit. Life purpose. Lifelong contentment will come from the fulfillment of my dharma. Sages call dharma and Sanskrit word for life purpose. I asked, most certainly from dharma spring inner harmony and lasting satisfaction. Dharma is based upon the ancient principle that says every one of us has a heroic mission. While we walk this earth, we have heroic mission. While we walk this earth, we have all been granted a unique set of gift and talent that will readily allow us to realize this life work. The key is to discover them, and in doing so, discover the main object of your life. I interrupted Julian. The key is to the key is to discover them, and in doing so, discover the main object of your life. I interrupted Julian. It's sort of what you are saying earlier about risk taking. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't follow. Yes, it may seem as though you are forced to take a few risks to discover what you are the best at and the essence of your life purpose. Many people job that they have stifled their progress the moment they discover the true purpose of their existence. There is always the apparent risk that comes with self examination and soul searching. But no, because there is never a risk in discovering yourself and the mission of your life. But no, because there is never a risk in discovering yourself and the mission of your life. And the mission of your life, self knowledge is the DNA of self enlightenment. Self knowledge is the DNA of self enlightenment. Self enlightenment. It is a very good, indeed, essential thing. What is your dharma, Julian? I asked casually, attempting to mask my burning curiosity. What is your dharma, Julian? I asked casually, attempting to mask my burning curiosity. Mine is simple: to selflessly serve others. Remember, you will not find true joy in sleeping, Why in relaxing, or in spending your time like an idler. Oh, as Disraeli said, the secret of success is constancy of purpose. The happiness you are searching for comes through reflecting on the worthy aims you are dedicated to achieving, and then taking action daily to advance them. This is a direct application of the timeless philosophy that prescribe that those things that are most important should never be sacrificed to those things that are the least important. Wow, क्या बात कर रहे हैं. The lighthouse in Yogi's Raman's fable will always remind you of the power of setting clear, defined, purposeful goals, and most importantly, of having the character power to act on them. Over the course of the next few hours, I learned from Julian that all highly developed, fully actualized people understand the importance of exploring their talent. The lighthouse in Yogi Raman's fable will always remind you of the power of setting clear, defined, purposeful goal, and most importantly, of having the character power to act on them. Over the course of the next few hours, I learned from Julian that all highly developed, fully actualized people understand the importance of exploring their talent, uncovering their personal purpose, and then applying their human gift in the direction of this calling. Some people selflessly serve humanity as physicians, others as artists. Some people discover that they are powerful. Some people discover that they are powerful communicators and become wonderful teachers, while others come to realize that their legacy will be in the form of innovation in the field of business or science. The key is to have the discipline and vision to see your heroic mission, and to ensure that it serves other people while you realize it. Is this a form of goal setting? Goal setting is the starting point. Mapping out your objective and your goal, release the creative juices that get you onto the path of your purpose. Believe it or not, Yogi Raman and the other sages were very hot on goals. You are kidding. Highly effective monk living deep in the Himalaya mountain who meditate all night and set goals all day. I love it. John, always. John, always judge by result. Look at me. Sometimes I don't even recognize myself when I look in the mirror. My once unfulfilling existence has been replaced by one rich with adventure, mystery, and excitement. I am young again and enjoy vibrant health. I am truly happy. The wisdom I am sharing with you is so potent and so important and so life-giving that you simply must stay open to it. I am Julian. I really am. Everything you have said makes perfect sense. Although some of the technique do sound a little odd, but mm, everything you have said makes perfect sense. Although some of the technique do sound a little odd, but I have promised to try them, and I will. And also, some of the technique do sound a little odd. Everything you said makes perfect sense. Although some of the technique do sound a little odd, but I promise to try them, and I will. I agree that this information is powerful. If I have seen further than others, it is simply because I have stood on the soldier of great teacher. Rep- If I have seen further than others, it is simply because I have stood on the soldier of great teachers, replied Julian with humility. Here's another example. Yogi Raman was an expert archer, a true master to illustrate his philosophy on the importance of setting clearly defined objective in every aspect of one's life and fulfilling one's mission. He offered a demonstration I will never forget. This page I'm going to read because I have to complete. I've already completed this till this page, and now I have to read from here. Near where we were sitting, there was a magnificent oak tree. The sage pulled one of the roses from the garland he habitually wore and placed it on the center of the trunk. He then pulled their object from the large knapsack that was his constant companion whenever he ventured to distant mountain climbs, such as the one we were visiting, such as the one we were visiting. The first object was his favorite bow, made of a wonderfully fragrant yet sturdy sandalwood. The second item was an arrow. The third object was a lily white handkerchief, kind the kind I used to wear on in the pocket of my expensive suit to impress judges and juries. Julian added apologetically. Yogi Raman then asked Julian to put the handkerchief over his eyes on as a blindfold. How far away from the rose am I? Yogi Raman asked his pupil. 100 feet, Julian guessed. Have you ever observed me in my daily practice of this ancient sport of archery? Archery? Archery. The sage queried, in full of knowledge of the response that would come. I have seen you strike the bullseye from a mark almost 300 feet away, and I cannot recall a time that you have ever missed at your current distance. Julian noted dutifully. Then, with his eyes covered by the cloth and his feet placed securely in the earth, the teacher drew the bow with all his energy and released the arrow, aiming directly at the rose hanging from the tree. The arrow struck the large oak with a third, missing its mark by an embarrassingly large distance. I thought you were going to display more of your magical abilities, Yogiraman. What happened? We have traveled to this isolated place for one reason only. I have agreed to reveal all my worldly wisdom to you. Today's Today's demonstration is meant to reinforce my advice on the importance of defined setting clearly defined objectives in your life and knowing precisely where you are going. What you just saw confirm the most important principle for anyone seek to attain their goal and to fulfill their life purpose. You will never be able to hit a target that you cannot reach. People spend their whole life dreaming of becoming happier, living the more vitality, and having an abundance of passion. Yet they do not see the importance of taking even 10 minutes a month to write out their goal and to think deeply about the meaning of their lives. Their dharma goal setting will make your life magnificent. Your world will become richer, more delightful, and more magical. You see, Julian, our ancestors have taught us that setting clear, defined objectives for what we desire in our mental, physical, and spiritual world is critical to their realization. In the world you came from, people set financial and material goal. There is nothing wrong with these. Is if this is what you value. However, to attain self mastery and inner enlightenment, you must set concrete objective in other areas as well. Would it surprise you to know that I have clearly defined objective with respect to the peace of mind I desire, the energy I bring to each day, and the love that I offer to all those around me. Global eh, goal setting is not just for distinguished lawyers such as yourself who is reside in a world full of material attraction. Anyone who wishes to improve the quality of their inner as well as their outer world would do well to take a piece of paper and start writing out their life aims. At the very moment that this is done, natural forces will come to play uh, the natural forces will come to play that start to transform this dream into reality. What I was hearing fascinated me when I was a football player in high school. When I was a football player in high school, my coach had constantly spoken of the importance of knowing what we wanted from every game. Know your outcome was his personal creed, and our team wouldn't dream of stepping into the playing field without a clear game plan that would lead us to victory. Uh, Dream of stepping onto the playing field without a clear game plan. That would lead us to victory. I wonder why, as I had grown older, I had never taken the time to develop a game plan for my own life. Maybe Julian and Yogi Raman had something here. Bye bye. That's all for today. Tata.